Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to the 400 Mini show, in which we explore the built-in games of the 400 Mini retro gaming console, and onwards into some other Atari 8-bit titles you might want to take a look at on the system. Today's game from the built-in lineup is Star Raiders 2. This was first released in 1986, but actually has its origins a couple of years earlier in 1984. The game was originally intended to be a licensed video game adaptation of the movie The Last Starfighter, but for various reasons, mostly relating to the turmoil Atari was in around 1984, that version never saw an official release, though the unreleased prototype nevertheless found its way out into the wild courtesy of pirate groups, and we've actually taken a look at that version previously on the Atari A to Z series on this channel. Bearing this in mind, it's perhaps unsurprising that Star Raiders 2 bears quite little resemblance to its well-regarded predecessor. In fact, a secret team at Atari was working on a sequel to Star Raiders around the same time, though the project was a casualty of Atari's troubles at that time. Developer Eric Wilmunder took the code with him when he was laid off though, and eventually released the untuned but otherwise fully playable game to the public in 2015. That's a story for another day though. The inclusion of Star Raiders 2 on the 400 Mini begs a rather glaring question for a lot of people. Why isn't the original Star Raiders included, particularly as that game is regarded as the Atari 400's killer app? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Because the 400 Mini lacks a working keyboard, it's impractical, though not completely impossible, to play Star Raiders on it. Star Raiders 2, meanwhile, fits comfortably on the included controller and was thus a more sensible inclusion. It is worth remembering, though, that there's nothing stopping you from loading your own copy of Star Raiders onto the 400 Mini via a USB stick, so long as it's legally acquired, of course. But bear in mind that to play it, you will either need to connect a USB keyboard or make use of the system's on-screen virtual keyboard for some functions. Anyway, none of that is about the game in our sights for today's video, so let's get back to that. The differences between the original The Last Starfighter prototype and Star Raiders 2 are relatively minor. Star Raiders 2 adds star bases as a means of refueling and repairing your ship, whereas in The Last Starfighter you had to fly into the sun and gather energy from it. This is still possible in Star Raiders 2, but the star bases are a safer option. Star Raiders 2 also does away with the energy field known as the Frontier, which surrounds the star system you're supposed to be defending. Now enemy forces just enter and gradually head for the system's planets. This means that the boss enemies who were originally present in The Last Starfighter just to punch a hole in the Frontier have been retooled as regular enemies that show up in some of the space combat scenarios, and they are pretty formidable. There's a couple of other little tweaks here and there, with perhaps the most noticeable being that the control panel is now grey instead of purple, but at this point the best thing to do is probably to just go and play the damn thing and explain things as we go. So let's go play Star Raiders 2. Okay, here we are once again with the 400 Mini, taking a look at Star Raiders 2. In this space shoot-em-up sequel, the Federation has chosen you to pilot the Liberty Star, infiltrate the Stronghold, and eliminate the Xylon Master Force. Defend Federation cities, then warp to Procyon and destroy Xylon attack bases using Starburst missiles. Use lasers for Xylon fly fighters and the ion cannon for destroyers and command ships. Okay, let's jump in. So there are 3 difficulty levels in this game. Difficulty 1 is still pretty challenging. Difficulty 2 and 3 are near impossible, so we're going to play on difficulty level 1 for today. And let's begin. So your game always starts in orbit around one of your home planets, with some of these Xylon fly fighters harassing you. So the first thing to do is just destroy those. That gives you a quick opportunity to get used to the planetary controls. Go from there. Right, so they are done. So we go to the galactic map. The flickering white things are Xylon forces, so you can see where they are. None of them are particularly close to planets at the moment, so I'm going to warp straight to the Procyon system and go on the offensive straight away. So once you hit the Procyon system, your aim is to orbit each of the Xylon planets and destroy the enemy bases that you can see on the map on the display in the middle. And so you see the bases appearing as the planet orbits around beneath us. And you have to hit them with these Starburst missiles. And you have to be super accurate with these as well. Now time your shots very, very carefully. And it's good to try and get into the Procon system to do some of this as soon as you can. Because if you can take out one or more of the Xylon planets straight away, that slows the rate at which they will start invading your system. Because otherwise, for every Xylon planet, they will gradually produce more fleets, which will start heading into your system, Lost 4, and attacking your planets. So, now we're back here. Let's head to a starbase and restore some energy. And also repair our shields. There we go. Now, there's a Xylon fleet about to attack a planet there. In fact, I think we're going to have to wait until they're on the planet before we can reach them. There we are. So there's now... Well, they're not there yet. Okay, well, we'll just wait for them to go there. Let's go take out this one in the meantime. We'll start getting warnings about cities being destroyed in a minute. That's when we know they're on the planet. So when you're fighting a fleet, you always have a few waves of fighters first, which you need to destroy, and then you'll have the destroyers, and occasionally the command ships. So the fighters you fight pretty much in the same ways you do when you're in the planetary atmosphere. Just with your lasers. Lasers. And then when the destroyers show up, you automatically switch to your ion cannon weapon, which fires much more slowly and requires much greater accuracy. And then each colour destroyer requires a particular number of hits to destroy. So blues take 2, greens take 3, and reds take 4. And as you can see, it's quite tricky to keep them in your sights. What you also have to bear in mind is that each shot is using up some of your precious energy as well. And when you get low on energy, it's time to head to a starbase and fill her up. So, this game isn't anywhere near as popular as the original Star Raiders for a lot of reasons, all of which I completely understand. Star Raiders was a revolutionary game for the time. It was a full, proper 3D game that was well ahead of its time. And this game, although sort of looking 3D, it lacks a lot of the clever a lot of the really clever things that Doug Neubauer put into the original Star Raiders. Like it doesn't have that authentic full 3D effect. Although you've got that 3D starfield oh damn it. Although you've got that 3D starfield effect, you're still effectively doing a shooting gallery against 2D sprites. But at the same time, I think this game has a lot of the same appeal elements as the original Star Raiders. Most notably the combination of action and strategy. And I think one of the reasons that I like this game is that it reminds me quite a bit of one of my favourite Atari 8-bit games, which is Final Legacy. Which has a very similar setup of you needing to do a combination of defending your home bases and going on the offensive against enemy forces. Right, you saw the command ships for the enemy showed up there very briefly and then disappeared. So if a command ship does show up, you've got a few seconds to destroy it and get some nice bonus points from that. But otherwise it will just run away. Which is good, because they are nasty. They have a very nasty energy weapon that can drain a lot of your shields very quickly. So we're now on the defensive on the planet, which is similar to fighting a fleet in space, and similar to the initial planetary encounter that you start the game with. In that you've got these fighters to fend off to begin with. Come here. Come here. Oh. There we go. And then once you've dealt with the fighters, the destroyers will show up. And once again you have to use your ion cannon to destroy them. But this time they are trying to blow up your cities while you're doing that. With that sort of that beam they're firing down at the surface. I think, if anything, it's actually a little bit easier to fight them on the surface than it is in space. Scanner malfunction. I have to go and get that fixed in a moment. But let's try and deal with these guys first. Where are you? There you are. Come on, just 3 hits to destroy this guy. Just 3 hits. There he is. Just in time for our energy level to hit critical. And docking at the starbase will of course repair all your damaged systems as well. So head back there in a mad panic anytime you're having issues. You can also fly into the sun, like I said in the intro. What that does, that restores your energy very quickly, but if you overflow your energy while you're there, you will melt and die. So that is a real sort of, in case of emergency sort of situation. Right, let's defend this planet, and then I think it's probably time to go on the offensive again. I think one of the reasons I like this game so much is because of its presentation. So like the cockpit view with all its gloriously 80s sci-fi instrumentation, none of which does anything apart from the radar in the middle and a couple of other bits and pieces. But like the instruction manual for this game tries desperately to convince you that those displays on the right hand side mean something, but they don't. They're just flashing lights that look cool and sci-fi. and I love that. That was one of my favourite things about this game, because you could sort of imagine what they were trying to tell you. Even though they're not really telling you anything at all. Right, that planet is safe. Let's go get some quick repairs. And then time for another bombing run. So yeah, people who don't like this game, I get it to a certain extent, because it's called Star Raiders 2 and it's not really the same as the original Star Raiders, but I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with it as a game. It's not a bad game. It's just not quite what people might have wanted from a sequel to Star Raiders. In some respects, I can understand why people see it as a bit of a step backwards. Because it's not as clever as the first game, I think is the main thing. I mean, it's still quite clever, comparatively speaking, compared to some other games at the time. Like, that planet surface effect is cool. And as I say, the general combination of action and strategy that is in this game works really well. Oh no, engine's damaged. That means I can't that means I can't move. Not had that before. Yeah, and one thing that always strikes me when I play something like this or Final Legacy or something like that is it's a sign of how game design has very much changed over time. Because these days I tend to think that we have short games. We have short games which are like you sit down and you play them for 10-20 minutes at a time, if that. Sort of arcade style stuff, and that's great. That's great for when you've got a few minutes and you want to play something. And we have long games, so we have epic length RPGs, and we have strategy games that take 40 hours to do a single playthrough, and we have endless farming sims and such like. But games like this and Final Legacy... Oh no, this is going terribly. SSB are your starburst bombs that you need to destroy the enemy cities. So without them, that's a real problem. Let's go get some repairs. Yeah, so this game and Final Legacy and a few other games like it occupy a space somewhere between those short, quick-hit arcade games and long-form games, in that you sit down and you play them for a session, but a single session takes quite a while. So a single session takes maybe half an hour to an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes even more. But in that session, you have a complete experience. You have a complete run through that game. And I feel like that is the type of experience we don't get as much these days. And I'm not sure what you'd call that. I'm not sure what you'd call that. So a self-contained experience that has more depth than something arcadey, but which you can play through in a single sitting. There's certainly narrative-based games that it's practical and even desirable to play through in a single sitting, but not a lot in the way of mechanic-centric games, I would argue. And that's a bit of a shame, I think, because there is definite value to having a complete feeling experience in a single sitting. I'm here. Right, any more? Yes, there's some more. on, I don't have all day. Stop flying past me. Right. Destroyers? Oh no, more fighters. Right. Oh god, how many of them are there? So many fighters. I think this may be the last one though. Right. Deal with these bad boys. So after this we'll check the other planets in the system for whether they're under attack or not. And if they're not, time to go on the offensive again. 3 blue ones, that's what I like to see. Death to Blue Xylons. Ooh, another one. You brought all your friends to this planet, didn't you? Uh-oh. Time for a refresh. Whew, dear. Right. How many left? 3 destroyers left. That's 2. And 1 more. Come here. Come here and get shot. Right. Let's just quickly survey the other planets. None there. None there. Oh, there's some on that one as well. Urgh. Getting slightly overwhelmed. Nice. I like it when they get down easy. On to the destroyers. Let's make this a nice, quick defense job. There's 1. And 2. And 3. Is that everything? That's all of them. Right, quick repairs and then time for a bombing run. As we need to slow down the rate at which they're coming into this system. But yeah, I remind you that this is difficulty level 1, the easiest. and it's already quite overwhelming. I did try difficulty level 2 the other day just to see if it was worth doing that in the recording, and I was taken out in a matter of seconds. It did not go very well. Right. Ignore the fighters. Just concentrate on getting rid of those cities. Alright. That's one down. There's another. Oh, I overshot that one. Oh, no. Overshot. Overshot again. Alright, slow down. Slow down. Can I make it over here before this one? Right. That's 2 planets dealt with. But we got problems back home. So we'd better go and deal with that. Where are you? I think my subspace radio might be damaged. Either that or there's a lot of enemies in this system. Yes, my subspace radio was damaged. Okay, where are they? There. 1 fighter and 3 destroyers on this planet. I think we can deal with that. That's not 1 fighter, that's 3 fighters. Hello, you're a blue one. You're only supposed to take 2 shots. Why aren't you dying? I think we've hit a bug, boys and girls. Let's just warp away and back again. Alright, let's try that again. So, 3 destroyers. That's better. 2 destroyers. I think what happened last time is it got confused with that. Where there was only supposed to be 1 fighter, but actually 3 showed up. And then you may have noticed that the destroyer suddenly appeared after I shot one of the fighters. And I think that confused the game logic somehow. Right, that place is safe. That place is safe. That place is safe. That place is not. We're making progress. I think we're gradually getting the upper hand. Certainly these squadrons we're facing seem to be a lot more threadbare than they were at the beginning. I say that, and then they throw 3 red destroyers at me. I think the red ones might actually be more aggressive as well as being tougher. They seem to be firing a lot more frequently. Time for another starbase visit. We'll get him. We'll take him down. Right, where were they? Here? Yes. 2 destroyers left. And one more. And it's a blue one. Jolly good. I guess you hadn't noticed, if you leave and then come back to a squadron, the colours of the destroyers are randomised. So if you're a coward who doesn't want to fight red destroyers, you can just take advantage of that. Right. That blue planet's clearly about to get invaded again, but I'm going to finish the job over here. Right, this is planet Xylon itself. Once again, just ignore the pelting you are getting from the fighters as much as possible. Take out as many cities as you can before you need to restock and refuel. Alright, this is going alarmingly smoothly. We are very short on energy. Hope I've got enough energy to get home. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Damn it! Oh, that's upsetting. That's upsetting. I did not budget my energy well enough. Oh well. It happens. It happens. Anyway, so that is Star Raiders 2. The Xylons now control the Selos 4 star system. Destroyed 75 fighters, 24 destroyers, no flagships, actually didn't see very many of them, and 25 bases. You have been promoted to commander of a garbage scow. Well, good. So, shame you didn't get through a full playthrough of that, but we got most of the way through. You get the idea. And if you win, you get a very similar message to that, only you get a ranking that is a bit more positive. Anyway, let's leave that there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.